welcome to Warp Core Breach. It's GenCon, which means we've got all of the rest of Card Pack Wave 1 spoiled. The day started with the IKS Vesper, or just the IKS as we're going to call it now, being spoiled on StarTrek.com. And as of like 30 minutes ago, Chad Brown published the Romulan drone and the Dreadnought to Facebook. So Craig and I are here. We will be giving you very brief overviews, and then Craig has to take off in like 30 minutes. And so then at that point, I will be going in depth for a bit, as good as in depth my brain is for a half hour, or as good as in depth my brain is on 3 hours of sleep. See, I'm already doing it. And then at some point, Nick will be on a lunch break from work, and then we'll do some more at that point. And yeah, that's our plan for the day. But this is like the most exciting day of Star Trek Attack Wing in a long, long time.
There's a ton of new stuff coming in. It's really going to shake up the game, especially with just the fundamentally different concept regarding points values for ships is so huge.
Yeah, meta shaken, not stirred.
Right?
Ooh, that's a better title.
Hey, now you're getting fancy with it. But it is so true that while this is power creep, it's power creep in a good way, and because it's expanding the systems to allow for a lot more leeway and more appropriate costing. It's making it so that not everything it costs a ridiculous amount just because it has certain stats that you're probably not even using anyways. So being able to pay lower amounts for smaller ship bases is super handy for squeezing in discounts and fitting in gimmick ships where previously it would have been super costly to do so.
Yeah, this to me, and I will be completely honest, I have not even had time to look at the specifics of these cards. So you're getting a lot of hot takes today. But this stuff starts to feel about where these cards should have been. If the Grissom is any indication of the direction of this game, the pricing of cards is going to feel a lot better than it used to.
Which is fantastic, by the way. Like I didn't like a 16-point Raptor class generic. 13-point for a named one. Now we're getting somewhere. 11 points for an unnamed Klingon ship. Like you can do something with that.
Yes, absolutely you can. Yeah, so let's kind of get rolling here.
Sure.
I know the StarTrek.com article's out.
Yes, that's what I've got open. You're the only one with the Facebook pictures of other things.
Yes, so we'll talk about the
Battle.
Bottle. Yeah, sure. We've known what the named ship does for a little bit thanks to Origins, and it's a cool named ability. When you take damage from obstacle or minefield, you take one less. Yeah, okay, fine, that's neat. But 13 points for a Raptor class, that's where it should be.
Now you're getting cheeky. This is about rightly cost for what I would be willing to pay for this. I'm not going to pay 18 points for the Samra and try and figure out a way to stack a defense dice on it. I'm just going to take the Ves Battle because I know that I can launch a ton of mine shenanigans, either with its own tech slots. I can throw in antimatter mines. I can start throwing in other mines that don't necessarily have as much direction as cloaked mines and still be pretty okay because I'm just going to be soaking most of that damage.
Right. And the other thing to note, we don't see it pictured in the preview, but the article says that the generic Raptor is reduced down to 11 points.
Exactly, which again is just a huge discount. For 5 points is basically 33% of the card. It's closer to 30, but that's still just massive.
Now, granted, 11 points for 4 durability. I don't know if that's truly playable, but it starts to feel like maybe it is.
Quark's Treasure pulled it off.
Well, because it's a shuttle.
Yeah, admittedly, Quark's Treasure is a bit cheeky in how I utilize it, so I'll acknowledge that it's not the same. But I do think that 4 durability isn't a Dreadnought rival. There are some ships that don't really turn out a ton of damage. I'm looking at Voyager. I'm looking at ships that are relying on mines. Things like magnetometric guided charges don't throw out a ton of damage even when they're hitting.
Right.
So it's not like it's an instant pop. And even when it is, you probably didn't invest all that much in it anyways, so you're not broken up about it. As opposed to if you paid for like an 18-point named Raptor from before the discounting.
Yeah. Something that weirds me out is why in the world is Duras, son of Toral, not unique?
I'm convicted this is a misprint.
I
can't understand otherwise.
Because he is a unique individual in the show.
Beyond being a unique individual, if you're going to go out of the way to name your captain something super particular, he's not just Duras anymore. He's now Duras, son of Toral.
Well, and that's because he's a different Duras than the Duras from the Baruch.
Oh, is he?
This is a Duras from Enterprise.
Got it.
So this is...
So it is actually a different Duras as well as being a different Duras.
Yes. So that's why the differentiation of names.
Okay. But especially because it's someone particular, you would think there'd be a unique symbol somewhere on here.
And I'm almost certain there will be. That'll be an FAQ thing.
Very rarely do we see named cards with talents, especially that are generic. Doesn't happen often.
But I like. I think it's happened once with the Alpha Hirogen.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic card, by the way.
It's the right kind of card to have as a non-unique.
Mm-hmm.
But I like this captain. The Klingons need something like this. It's a cool ability. It's the Eldara.
It is exactly the Eldara, but for any ship you want to put him on.
Right.
It is a bit difficult because you do have to go after them in order to change your maneuver, which at skill 6 is kind of difficult. Skill Wharf bumps us up to skill 9, which beats out most captains pretty naturally. But in this day of skill boosting and Pegasus Riker, if your opponent is running skill 11, 12, and 13 all in a row like that, then Duras loses some of his effectiveness.
Yes. And then Clang strikes me as the quintessential mission card.
Yeah, it's kind of particular, but at the same time, I think the independent faction actually has some of the best captains available. I'm always using Calvin Hudson, Khan Singh, Carr, any number of these really effective, high-end independent captains that are super handy to just toss on your fleet and make certain ships a lot better.
And a relatively cheap talent holder is not to be completely dismissed.
Yeah, I could see that. 2 points for
amazing.
I think that's better than anything Klingons had access to previously. Let me have a check, see.
Yeah. While you're checking.
Oh, they had Kolar, but I was the only one who even looked at him funny. So having Clang give you an ability that could give you extra attack is probably a bit more useful to most people.
It's okay. Kolar looked back at you funny.
Right?
So I would be remiss if we didn't talk about photon torpedoes.
Oh my God, Dave. I was so hyped to see that they did something that wasn't anywhere on the radar of changes, but definitely fixes it if I'm reading it correctly.
Okay, so first off, 2-point photon torpedoes
yes.
for 4 dice.
Yes.
Range 2 to 3. Okay, so right then and there, if these function just like normal photon torpedoes, this would be a drastic improvement. But
It's just being costed appropriately. Half the attack dice is a worthwhile cost for photon torpedoes.
Then, if this ship has a target lock token on the defending ship, place 2 time tokens on this card.
So what that says to me is, in order to perform this attack, you have to have the target lock, but you're not spending it.
I believe so.
You're keeping the quality, Dave. Yes. If you have 2 of these, you never have to spend that target lock, and you just have permanent action economy. It's that change alone makes photon torpedoes not only useful, but also makes it super useful to have target lock messing stuff. Things like there's captains that remove your opponent's target locks, monotanium armor plating, things that prevent your opponent's target locks and can remove them once they're there, are now a very, very viable counter to photon torpedoes, because otherwise your opponent's just going to be able to start firing a volley of them at you every single turn without spending any action economy and getting conversions.
A volley of torpedoes?
Yeah. See what I'm doing there, Dave? There's extra shenanigans available as well.
This
photon torpedoes have support.
I'm excited for the starter set.
Oh, I'm really hyped for how they revamp more of these, because if I see a Fed like 3-cost one that is just like 1 extra attack die over this, I'm going to be losing my mind. My Excelsior is going to be on the table 24/7 after that. The Excelsior is my favorite photon torpedo boat, and giving it more support just makes me smile.
Okay, photon detonation. This card looks cool to me.
More photon support.
Yeah, so it's either a tech or a weapon.
It counts as it, which means it benefits from Sakona discounts.
Yes. Or other tech discounts.
Right. Things, yeah, there's a few out there.
So it's an action. Disable. Place 3 time tokens on a photon torpedo's upgrade. So you have to have all of that. Target a minefield. Remove the minefield. Within range 1 to 2.
Yes, please. We have essentially a permanent minefield scrubber that just kind of takes the ability to slap some time tokens on one of your photon torpedoes. Are you allowed to place time tokens on cards that already have time tokens on them?
Don't know. New rules will probably clarify that.
I should hope that they do specifically state otherwise, because otherwise I could see that being abusable. But other than that, I'm really happy with it. It's a great permanent answer to Cloaked Mines, whereas something like Debt Codes was a 1-for-1 and already unique, so you couldn't really clear your opponent's set of them. But with this, as long as you have the action economy to pay, you can totally make this work. I especially like this with something like Alyssa Ogawa to get extra action economy out of it. Maybe throw it alongside the emergency medical hologram so you don't have to spend a turn re-enabling it. Things like that.
Oh, talk dirty to me, Craig.
There's so much going on. So many new gimmicks to try out, Dave. We have a lot in store for us.
Yeah. And just to briefly overview, Reactor Pit looks cool. Maybe a little overpriced, but it looks cool. It's a neat tech. And Dispersive Armor, again, looks cool. There's a symbol here that looks like it is a 3-hole only or 3-hole or less. That's what I'm going with.
Where was that?
The tech Dispersive Armor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm seeing that now.
So
I didn't have the resolution on my screen to even make out what that was at a distance, but you're right. It does look like the whole symbol with 3, then a symbol after it.
Yes. So, again, new rules. They'll tell us more.
But I'm looking forward to it. Just even having a symbol like that shows that they're looking at ways to portray this information without just cramming it all into text. I don't want to read something as long as IDS every single time.
Yep. All right.
Dispersive Armor, for the record, also is one of the big anti-Alpha Strike cards of this pack, which probably is going to see a lot of play. I mentioned Alyssa Ogawa. Imagine using Alyssa Ogawa for her evade token alongside Dispersive Armor. That's all the action economy you need and is super defensive, especially if you've got your opponent down to 1 chip.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
For on William T. Riker, and you're just hard to kill. It's great.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Romulan drone. Again, this is one we've seen the prototype. Yeah.
Oh, that's exact. Oh, Dave, I think this is almost like confirmation that there's special costing going on for named abilities, because this goes down 1 point for the shield, 1 point for the slot, and 1 point for the named ability. Coming down from 19 from the name to 16 for the generic.
6, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah.
So I think that's definitely part of the new cost formula for small ships. I'm assuming once you get over 20 points, there's a slight modification to that, because I know that doesn't necessarily hold true for something like the Dreadnought.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
More data points are more data points.
The more we see, the more we know. Or the more we think we know, at least.
But yeah, 16-point generic drone. I mean, yeah, I'll run that instead of what we had, which was
2 tech and a weapon. That's only 1 slot off from the already named prototype. Yeah. And a lot of people just use it as a mine carrier anyway, which I think it still does pretty appropriately.
Right. I mean, the Vest battle is already dealing with a lot of that, but
I am like moist with the idea that this might get access to the new revamped photon torpedoes, but for Romulans, because the prototype actually has a rear arc, which could be super handy since it also has the target lock option instead of the battle stations, so you still get access to that kind of quality.
I believe it's the only Romulan ship that has a rear arc.
Scimitar.
Okay, it's the only Romulan ship where you care about it having
yeah, the only Romulan ship where you'll use the rear arc, but the Scimitar does get one.
But yeah, named ability is interesting. You're going to need more tech with time tokens, but hopefully those exist here.
Yeah, there's a couple out there, I think.
Hey, Craig.
Or at least ways to put them on there. Triphasic emitters.
How about a newly costed triphasic emitters?
Oh, no! This is unfair. This is absolutely busted and completely not okay. This goes to 0 cost with Sakona. This is not okay.
Yep.
Oh, no.
And
how could you?
And look at the lack of symbols.
Oh my god. I just need all of the Romulan drone ships is essentially what we're getting across, because I actually thought Triphasic Emitter was a worthwhile card at 4 points. It looks like it's been directly revamped to be just 2 points less. Oh my god. I love it. I love it so much.
You have to have the weapon slots.
You do have to have the weapon slots.
But
1 for every triphasic. But Sakona brings one of her own, and there's a plenty of ships that have more weapon slots than they know what to do with.
Yep. So that's fun.
Oh yeah, that's a ton of new gimmicks open. I think that puts weapon ports on almost every single one of my builds at this point.
All right, there we go. Hey, a newly costed propulsion matrix. So that's a thing.
I mean, yay.
Yeah.
I don't like red straight maneuvers. There's just something about that.
Yeah, I know.
Even if it is a 4 or a 5, I don't need to spend 3 points giving myself the option to take a red 4 or 5 maneuver unless it's super scenario specific and I need a slow ship that goes slightly faster.
I like that it's down to 3 points. Yeah.
I would almost never take this over the Romulan pilot.
No, I agree. Except on the drone, because the drone can lacks the crew slots.
Right, yeah.
So.
Okay.
All right. Repair protocol can only go on the drone, 1 per ship. Place 3 time tokens on this card. Repair 1 damage to the ship.
I mean,
no.
it works super well with the named ability of this new drone ship, but to me, it reeks of that one upgrade for the Prometheus, regenerative shielding or something like that. That was 4 points, disable to repair a shield.
It works on prototype 01.
Oh, that's cheeky. So now you're repairing essentially 4 durability over 3 turns as opposed to 3 durability over 3 turns.
No, you're paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
But
and you do have to be able to survive till the end of the turn to even get any of those repairs. But yeah, I could see that would be pretty useful. I think my biggest thing about it is that this is crit protection for a lot of ships.
Yeah.
Is that you can repair a crit you took in combat that round, and you never have to spend any action economy worrying about that. And you actually get to see what the crit is before you decide whether or not you want to cancel it, repair it, what kind of thing.
Yeah. So that's cool. Jamel, and I believe that's how you say it. I think she's a 2-point captain. She might be 3. But she's independent and Romulan.
I'm loving the cross faction. More cross faction is better.
And the cool thing is, she is a Romulan drone pilot, so she can go on the prototype.
It's now the Romulan prototype drone pilot, Gary B. and Jamel.
Yes. And then range 1 to 2 action, target an opposing ship in the ship's primary firing arc. The target ship rolls 2 less attack dice against this ship. I mean, that's nice if they actually shoot you as opposed to somebody else.
The real trick here, Dave, is that they didn't make this a disable. They didn't make it a discard. They didn't give you ox power for it. They didn't take away your attack for their turn. It's just finally a card that says action. They hurt you less if they try and hurt you specifically. Which I think on a small captain like this, especially one that can go on many different ships, like I know there's a lot of dinky independent ships as well, this could be worthwhile.
Yeah.
It needs to be part of a kind of fleet action, but especially in dueling scenarios, I think the ability to just say, you hurt less this turn, pretty handy.
So this is where I'm wondering what these ship symbols actually mean. And I guess that's where we're going to have to see the new rules. Are they specific that you have to take it on that ship, or can you take it anywhere?
Yeah, that's tricky.
It's ship symbol specific, then her having independent faction is nice, but it does nothing.
Actually, it makes her weak to the new Klingon captain, Clang.
You're right. So
which might be a little thematicism on their end.
Right. So okay, that's something, but it actually is hurtful. Which
yes. Without a talent slot, I can't see why I would want this to have extra faction affiliations if it was limited to the Romulan drone ship.
Yeah. We'll see.
All that seems like that would do is make me weak to certain faction hates.
Because like if you look at the Romulan drone pilot generic, it seems like that symbol means it can only go on the drone.
See, this disguise protocol I like better than the repair because it's causing your opponent to roll 2 less attack dice. It's essentially the named ability of that captain we just saw.
Yeah, without the action, just time.
Mm-hmm. So it's the same amount of time tokens.
What about disguise protocol with Jamel?
That's the real trick, is you can use them both at the same time. One prevents you from being alpha struck off the face of the earth, and the other gets you back up to full once you've been hit slightly.
Yeah. So that's something. And then Tellarite Disruptor Banks.
Disruptors and Romulans have always been a thing. This is independent, though.
It is.
Oh, that's... Huh.
If there's at least one uncanceled hit, modify the defender's agility value by -1 until the end of the game round. So you need to hit them early, and then they're hurting for the rest of the round.
And this doesn't say anything about arcs, so it's a decent range 3 option for Borg spheres. I mean, scout cubes.
Yeah.
Only 3 points for a 3 time token. This is a flat upgrade because I know that there's maybe not a flat upgrade. There's one independent card that's 3 points, range 1 to 3, 4 attack dice, place 2 time tokens. This gives it a named ability that's a little bit more effective, so I can see some use for it there.
Yeah.
And it's not arc limited, so it definitely has a place in the current game. I wonder if it's just a little bit too weak, and because it's modifying for after you've already hit, that seems like very clunky. But it's not bad. Just it's a 3-point any direction 1 to 3 range attack.
Sure. An evasive protocol for the drone ship, not bad at all. During the combat phase, or even start a combat phase, whatever that timing actually is, being in the primary or secondary firing arc of an opposing ship, 3 time tokens, do a free sensor echo action. And if you do, you remove an opposing target lock.
Which is huge if photon torpedoes are going to be a new thing.
Yeah. So.
And I really am, especially because it happens at the start of the combat phase. There's no portion for actions in between then.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a super handy card if photon torpedoes become a thing, which I think they might, just for the fact of they're already making everything cheaper. So if ship bases are cheaper and the photon torpedoes are cheaper, that's finally reaching a level of discount where it makes it worth it, especially with the non-removal of the lock.
I'm with you.
I'm just super hyped to see photon torpedoes and be excited. Like, I wasn't expecting that. You don't wake up in the morning thinking, you know what, photon torpedoes are going to be useful now. But now I have that idea in my head and it's not going anywhere.
I mean, I think you get that idea once.
I got that idea once, but WizKids has at least made it clear that they like consistency. They like you to have some sort of expectation about what you're going to get. And showing something like that lets us know that this is about where they value photon torpedoes after having seen how they've been used, after having seen how completely and horribly neglected they are outside of very specific scenario play. Or just casual gaming. That's something we don't necessarily acknowledge all too often, but they have never been bad for just being a casual weapon. Now they're just viable for being a main strategy in an actual competitive fleet. Or at least it looks like they will be. Again, the time will tell, but that one photon torpedo, oh my goodness, I'm still just doesn't remove the target lock. Only 2 time tokens, so a single Arsenal or Romulan bridge officer produces this to fires every single turn. and it just gets crazy.
I am with you there. I'm trying to check one more thing before we move here. Because
just to give everybody listening out there a way to pull that off, try the Klingon photon torpedoes on a Romulan drone ship using the new Genesis effect to get that crew on there. Just throw together all the new fancy things, and you can have the ship of your dreams, a Romulan drone ship that fires permanent photon torpedoes requiring no action economy. Super, super cheeky build.
Yeah. So I've been slightly delaying because I'm trying to find the cost of the quantum torpedoes from the Dreadnought, and I can't do that right now. So that's
Got it.
where I'm having problems. But you know what? We press on. So
let me see what they do, Dave. I want to see what quantum torpedoes can do.
Yes.
Because they've always kind of sat there as this worthless alternative to disruptor beams.
Yes.
Show me what they can do when they're done right.
All right. So they are.
Oh yes. Captured? Oh,
yeah.
hell yes.
Captured, yeah. No upgrade slot. The ship gains the independent faction.
For the record, you never pay a faction penalty for this card.
This is the first time I'm reading this card.
You never pay a faction penalty for this card.
It's a dual faction card. It is a 1-point card, period. If the attacking ship shares a faction with the ship other than independent, the attacking ship rolls +1 attack. Wow.
Yep. It makes you vulnerable to if you are all the same thing as them. But if you're not, you're getting a faction penalty discount for all your independent stuff. And
that's why this Klingon captain is golden.
Yeah, exactly. You have an actual reason for it now. They thought about this and said, you know what? Let's give them a kind of niche option that does cheeky things. That, like, if you're Klingons versus using that captain against other Klingons that have been captured, now you're rolling 2 extra attack die, and that's super useful.
Craig, they play tested.
They knew what they were doing, Dave. I'm so happy.
I'm giddy over this.
They're making synergies between cards that they're now releasing. This is interaction. This is stuff that I need to consider when running these cards, and it's going to make part of the game with me and my opponent. This is great. I like it. I'm happy.
I'm like legitimately sitting here like in a little bit of shock, but mostly like joy that they
Okay, and just from what I can see off quantum torpedoes, this confirms the photon torpedo HUD, because this is still telling you spend the ship's target lock token and 2 time token upgrades.
But read the next sentence. If it hits, add 1 hit, or 2 if it's from the Cardassian ATR 4107. I'm not saying that makes it perfect, but imagine if this is a 2 or 3 point card.
I'm still fine at 4 points, because like I think if you're running this on the card, the Dreadnought style ship, then that's essentially a 7 attack die weapon on 2. No, I don't like this ever. Just because the only time you would ever get use out of that named ability is if it's on a Cardassian specific ship, the Dreadnought, which already has a base primary weapon value of 5, and no arcs are allowed. No arc shenanigans can happen with the. Oh, they can, but I don't think the Dreadnought has any rear arc.
I don't remember.
Let me just pull that up real quick.
Yeah, I kind of like it on the Jem'Hadar bug.
No, because we've already got quantum torpedoes, and like even if that would maybe one of the attack ships. I couldn't put this on anything big that has. I can't justify putting this on anything that has a decent primary weapons value because it's essentially rolling 7 attack dice if you manage to hit with the 5.
Right. But then that's +1 attack die, and it's not worth it. You're better off rolling 6 with the target lock quality.
Mm-hmm. Not that you lose your target lock. Oh yeah, you do. This is one of the spend ones. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so I'm less hype about this, but it does confirm that the other torpedoes are at least what we were looking for.
Yes, and we should be clear here. We're looking at the Dreadnought, which is a 6045 for 29 points. But the named ability here is really cool. No captains, no admirals on this. While this ship has no damage cards, it's captain skill 12. So while you're just taking shield damage or no damage at all, skill 12. Once you take that first bit of damage, you're down to skill 1.
Throwing this out there, repairs, super useful now.
Yes.
Absolutely. Because even after you take damage, you can still repair that back up to hit skill 12 again.
Yeah, that's good.
And captain skill is determined at the start of the combat phase. So if you start the combat with full health, you can finish it with full skill.
Yep. And then the generic loses a shield, loses the named ability,
loses all the tech slots.
Yeah, loses both tech, gains a weapon, but it saves 5 points.
5 points.
You got to think about it. But
it is worth noting that it's only 2 points discounted off of the current scheme. It's essentially a Keldon class with a bonus attack and one of the shields one of the defensive die, the agility placed into shields. So yeah. It's a hard sell, especially without battle stations and the inability to get past captain skill 1, or even to get an efficient captain skill ability. Like a lot of captains are just efficient upgrades to your ship.
That does hurt, I will admit.
This is going to be my last 2 cards.
Okay. Balana's Codes. Independent tech. If one or more time tokens would be placed on a weapon upgrade equipped to this ship, place those time tokens on this card instead.
Whoa.
Should say this is unique. Hard line. When a weapon upgrade equipped to the ship would be discarded, discard this card instead.
Dave, this is crazy.
It's awesome.
Dave, transphasic torpedoes now have a use again.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Like this might be usable with Thalaron weapon. What do you do with that? This is the first card that is a substitute discard for weapon upgrades. Yeah. We've seen things like Goval before, but this is new.
Yay!
Hang on a tick.
Oh, this is great. Plasma Pulse. We saw this previewed. I know Craig's off mic at this point. 1 per ship, a 4-point attack, range 1 to 2 discard. Defending ship cannot spend battle station or evade tokens, which is awesome. When defending, you can discard the card. The attacking ship suffers a crit.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't need to read anymore.
Awesome.
That alone justifies anywhere I could want to put this.
Oh yeah.
I'm willing to pay faction penalty. Like I'm the guy who liked the one Klingon talent that was add a crit to your roll. This is like that, but when you're defending, is completely unavoidable by the attacking ship.
Yeah.
And it just sets a crit, says, here you go. You can only get 1 per ship, but oh my god, I'm putting this on several ships if I get the chance. This gives me a reason to use up all those empty weapon slots I've always got hanging around as a way of telling my opponent, I mean, you could attack me, but you're paying for it.
This has fun with Mir Bashir.
I have a question. Is the when defending ability arc limited?
It shouldn't be.
I don't think it would be.
I'm pretty sure the arcs only pertain to the attack.
I would agree, just because we've seen cards that have when defending ability discards before. I know there was a Romulan Disruptor weapon that did something like that, but it would be a lot, somewhat, not even a lot, just somewhat less useful if it was arc restricted. But that when defending ability just makes me smile.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Even if it is limited, it's not terrible to get something in your arc to be able to use that.
Mm-hmm. At that point, I just think of it like Tasha Yar support.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna dip out, Dave. It's been cool going over these. I'm super hyped about everything. There's just so many different cool new cards that are gonna shake up what we've already got. Like just looking at Balana's codes alone gives me hope that secondary weapons are going to be a staple of the new format.
We are entering a brave new world of this game.
If you don't have Sakona, get your stuff together. Figure it out. Just find like a venue that will allow you to proxy her, because she's going to be incredibly important going forward, as long as you're willing to allow for like out of faction cards.
I think Sakona is the most important card in the game going forward.
10 out of 10 would recommend. Get these packs. These are awesome cards. They're cool cards. Enjoy the new game. I'm gonna head out.
Hey, Craig, quick question before you leave. Which pack do you like the most that you've seen?
Oh, that's so difficult. I can't say the Romulan drone ship, just because I am tentative over the specific.
Sure. I think it's got a lot of synergy within
card images, but the dispersive armor, photon detonation, the freaking new photon torpedoes all have me super hyped for the Klingons.
There you go.
Even if I don't necessarily feel like I'm ever going to run the ships, the cards from that pack just have shown me that I need to get in on this. There's so many cool new things. Even this Dreadnought is pretty fantastic. With these two cards alone, I'm already thinking of how I can abuse this.
Yeah.
So there's a ton new to play with.
And it's all really not cool. Bad at all.
The Grissom's fantastic too. Don't get me wrong. So these are just new and hyped.
Yeah. All right. Hey, you take care. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Have a good one. Enjoy the new material, everybody. Sayonara.
All right. Hey, I'm still here. We've got a few more cards to look at. We've got Balana Torres. 1 point, independent. When attacking, the ship may re-roll a blank if the defending ship is a Dominion ship. This ship may also convert a blank into a hit. Wow. Like, wow. That's the first time I'm reading Balana. Even if her ability was just re-roll a blank, like that would make her a very usable 1 point crew. But to have the ability to do a little bit more, that makes her very playable. As a 1 point crew, you're always looking for good 1 point crew. And I know Independent now have more 1 point crew than anybody else. They've got Govald and Arapel. I think they've got Dareth. They've got one of the Vidians, another Vidian. And now they've got Balana. They probably got somebody else that I'm forgetting about. But Balana's right at the top of the list of 1 point crew. Quality. That's awesome. Shield adaptation. Discard this card if the ship has no active shields. Okay. This can only go on a 4+ hull ship. Nice to actually have resolution there. When defending, the attacking ship rolls -2 attack dice when firing a primary weapon, and -1 attack die when firing a weapon upgrade, secondary weapon. Okay, that is ridiculously good. It's 5 points, but it's 5 points of continuous protection from you. Yeah, this is reaffirming what we're seeing. Secondary weapons are going to be far more important in this game. Like, absolutely more important. All right. Plasma Wave. Attack. Place 2 time tokens on this card and target all opposing ships within range 1 with 4 dice. 3 points for that. Compare that to the old Plasma Wave, which give me a moment to actually pull up because I wasn't going to do that. But like, the old Plasma Wave is so laughable. It it's just it makes me hurt. Um, yeah, so this is the old Plasma Wave. 5 points, 3 dice, range 1. Discard this card to perform this attack. You may fire this weapon at every enemy ship in your range. So it was only 3 attack dice for 5 points. And now we're getting another die for 2 less. Like, they know what they're doing. And it's 2 time tokens instead of a discard. Yeah. This card pack, the Dreadnought card pack, is a fix. It's not so much an addition. It is a fix. It is a, we screwed up. We're making it right. Uh, and that's okay. Final stage targeting. Uh, this ship can only target ships that it has a target lock token on. Okay, fine. When attacking, defending ships must skip the modified defense dice step. So no quality. No rerolls, no conversions, no spending battle stations. For 3 points, I'll take that. It's a trade-off. Um, you get target lock things. I don't know that I like it entirely. I don't know that that's where I want to go with everything that I play, but if I could see some, I could see it in the right build. I could see some use there. And then Thoron Shock Emitter. Um, 6 dice, range 1 to 3. Discard. The ship may reroll any number of attack dice. Um, I, I don't know why I care. I already get 6 dice. Oh, it's a built-in target lock. That's why. And it gives me no defense die penalty at range 3. That's what's going on here. I don't have to have a target lock to use it, and I can reroll my dice. So if I don't have action economy, that's why this goes. So it's 2 points, and that's okay. With Sakona, it's free. I don't know that I'd use Sakona to make it free, but at least it's there. Okay. So Thoron Shock Emitter, probably not the best part. But, oh, wow, the stuff in this pack. Captured. It's going to change the game. It is absolutely going to revolutionize the game. I just... that's that's gonna be the game changer. it's independent on demand. It's why we ran flagships. At least some. It's part of the reason we ran flagships was to get dual faction. Calvin Hudson becomes independent for everything and then gets his discount. Like that is absolutely insane to me that Calvin Hudson can just work on any ship you want him to work on. I can't stress that enough, that he just works. Um, I don't even know where to start planning builds now. There's so much that these card packs have thrown into the game, and we're not done. We're not anywhere near done. We've got a starter set. We've got waves more card packs. We've got faction packs coming. This is the tip of an iceberg that proves that WizKids knows the heck what they're doing now. And if it's not them, it's their playtesters. But I swear that it's somebody there that they put in new people that know what's going on. And there's thought behind this stuff. The Dreadnought pack shows that they had good ideas and now they've made them fit. You got to take it for what it's worth. And you got to sit there and go, okay, a little bit of time, a little bit of patience, and we got somewhere worthwhile. The Raptor pack, just, it's good stuff. Like, that Raptor pack, I never would have thought that a tiny ship would have me considering swarm tactics. But more so, they've answered cloaked mines. We're sitting here and we're going, now we can deal with mines. We have a legitimate answer to that. That's a really good place to be in the game. I'm sure there's problems left in the meta. In fact, I know that there are. But at some point, you have to go, I think we're doing all right. I think that we're coming to a place where there's some balance. So, okay. Well, I'm going to sign off for now. I'm going to get some coffee in me. I am going to digest. And we'll go from there. So I'll be back, but this is good stuff. Thank you guys for being around. Hopefully, the next time you hear us, it will be with Nick, and yeah. Feel free to keep chatting. Leave comments. Let me know. Let me know what pack you guys like most. And really, this is excited. This is genuine excitement. I want you guys to know, like, those cards, I was looking at them for the very first time. I did not plot ahead. Yes, I was pulling cards off of Facebook so that I had the images ready to go. And again, special kudos to I'm pulling the name to Chad Brown for posting images in the Facebook group, the Star Trek Jacqueline community, from GenCon. He he he's at GenCon, and he he was there. He was there for the first wave of pictures. So yeah, wish I was able to go, and but hey, Origins had to take priority. Uh, it's life, but you know, this is a community being a great community, and we all help each other out. So again, thank you to Chad Brown for those. Uh, Hopefully, the next time you hear me, we will have a price on those quantum torpedoes, so we'll be able to fully evaluate that, and we shall go from there. All right. Again, thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care, guys.